Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Our guest of today is Kiran, and he's the founder of Next Moca. And yeah, Kiran, why don't you tell a little bit more about yourself and some of the amazing things your company is doing?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me over here, Joey. I'm Kiran Kashalkar, founder and CTO of Next Moca. Next Moca is a platform that provides the enterprise agent planner, which enables companies, teams, and people to actually elevate their agentic AI game and essentially go from SDLC to what we call as ADLC, which is the agent development lifecycle. So what we provide is a platform that scales the adoption of AI, helps you go from like zero to production with AI agents in minutes, basically. And even for complex use cases, it'll get you like 80% of the way within minutes. And it's a very versatile platform that we are building. We are customer focused and customer driven. So customer first is our some of our values, and that's how we have been building it.
I love how you're saying it, and I think it becomes super important, especially nowadays, where just like I just had a chat recently with a friend about it, like things are moving so quick with AI, right? Usually, like these companies struggle. You have to adopt AI, but you cannot do it as a fear of missing out. Because the issue with that is that you're ending up with a lot of tools that you don't really need, right? And what's your point of view on that? Because like your business is around like based on like making like these companies adopt AI in the most efficient ways possible.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. So, few of our customers, they range from retail customers to those in the operations business, and then we also have a customer who's in the creative business, like a creative marketing agency. And for each of them, the value that we provide is one is that, you don't really need to understand the internals of AI. This platform in some ways democratizes agentic AI. So this is doing what ChatGPT did with chatbots for people. We are trying to do the same with agentic AI and AI agents for enterprises. And many of these customers of ours, they don't really have the resources to stand up their own AI team. At the same time, they have all the business mind and like all the knowledge of their business that they can actually enhance an AI agent with. So we almost reverse that model where we say that these agents are not really helping you. You are helping agents become smarter, and that way you're gonna take your time back. And that's the model that we have been working with. And in this process, what we do is that we make it super simple for these business owners to go through this agent development lifecycle, iterate over it very quickly without really having to, again, like have a steep learning curve of platforms like, say, for example, NA10, right? Or having to learn about LangChain or like APIs and SDKs. These business owners don't really have the time to do that. But at the same time, they do want to adopt AI and they don't want to resources adopting AI as you.
Very interesting. And amongst all the companies you guys are helping out, is there one specific company, one specific niche who benefits the most from what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. And the thing is, like, we have discovered different use cases in different companies, like companies which we went in without really trying to find a use case. For example, the operations company we went into, it's called Citizen Chipper, and we went in over there to automate some of their operations using agentic AI. And what we discovered over there was there was a big need in the HR space. So like they were getting thousands of resumes a week for a few positions that they had opened, and they have like one HR person. How do you go from like 1,000 to 10 or 20, right? Like it's just physically impossible, mentally impossible. So that's one use case where we were able to spin up an agent and basically create an index. We call it an index of the entire resume database, and we are able to like provide them what an interface to vibe query that entire large data set. And that vibe querying was so efficient that the CEO saw it, the HR head saw it, and they were like really amazed by it. And they actually started using it in production. And now we have another customer who's actually using the same. There are other use cases as well, but I think this use case specifically in this time right now, where every position out there gets thousands of resumes, I think is benefiting the most from our platform amongst our customers.
I love your story, and I love the concept of the business. Like I'm talking with a lot of founders, especially on this podcast, right? And they usually say like one of the biggest like things which you actually need in order to have like a successful business is to really like focus like on the 80, like the 80-20 rule, like focus on the doing the task which is going to give you the most leverage. What you're saying, right? Like if you actually apply like this, like AI in a certain way, like you can be way more efficient with your time. And especially as founders, right? Like we're always super busy with work, like meeting to meeting, back to back. So if there's a way how you can make your time more efficient and you can get like way more stuff down, it sounds like a superpower for a lot of companies.
And the reality is that, we have gone from being a rule-based economy where, problems were solved based on rules, right? You have algorithms, and those are very deterministic algorithms. And you go through that flow. If something changes, you have to go and change that entire algorithm to actually now where we have these AI interfaces intermediately, dispersed in, say, an organization. Imagine this workflow, and this is one of our customers again. They have so it's a creative agency. So they have clients, and their sales folks actually get requirements from the clients. They pass it on to the creative director. Creative director passes it on to the copywriter. Copywriter goes and uses ChatGPT to create a copy, then gives it back to the creative director. Creative director goes to a planner, says, create a plan. The planner goes to cloud and creates a plan. Then it comes back. Then creative director takes all of this and gives it to the creative person who actually generates images and videos using Gemini or VO. There's so much over here which is already happening. And there is no single pane of glass. There is no central view for any of these things. Tomorrow, you go through the entire thing again, you have no repeatability. You just have to go through this entire process all over. Tomorrow, like say someone comes back, legal comes back and says, hey, that ad we ran last week actually had a problem. Is there any auditability? Like, we are considering these AI agents as virtual teammates. Should they not be accountable? They need to be, right? So for that, they need to be auditable. All of these things are the necessary for adopting AI and AI agents in production. So that is where we are going. And in that process, we are making it so simple for someone, the creative director, to have one view and go through this entire workflow and not have to stitch things together manually.
Very interesting. And what are some of the ways how you guys are acquiring new customers at the moment?
Yeah, so we are actually imminent with our GA, and we started our backstory is that we started in January. We had our POC ready by spring. By July, we had our MVP, and we ran with pilot customers, and now we are converting those pilot customers into paid customers, and we are ready to go GA. But these pilot customers that we had were mostly, word of mouth and from our personal network. So warm intros and warm networks where we went. Next will be the cold outreach.
Very, very nice. This is an interesting question. Let's say you towards, in your experience, growing like the company towards like where it is right now. What is maybe one of the biggest challenges you have faced towards growing the company towards where it is right now, and how did you solve this challenge?
That's actually a great question, right? And this goes back to even something we solve, right? There's always a starter problem, and in this case, like I'll give you my backstory, right? I was a director at Oracle before this, and then I took some time off for family, and then when I came back, I was like, had this idea germinating, but I was like hesitant because I had not coded in like 7 years, right? So I'm okay, is this really like what I can do, right? And AI actually helped me solve it with co-pilots, with basically having conversations, architectural conversations with some of these LLMs. I was able to come up with good architecture and get in and like actually start implementing some of these things. And that's actually what we saw with our customers as well, right? They come to the platform, they go like anywhere, any platform like this, they're okay, you know, there is a cursor, there is a blinking cursor, there is a blank space. Where do I start? What do I say? And that's again like we have adopted that same thing that I used in my personal life, how I used AI to actually get myself back to coding, back to building, and not just like managing a platform or people. Uh, we use the same on our web app, on our service as well. That prompt you see something called as suggest prompt, and we have an enhance prompt, and that really unblocks our customers so quickly that they are able to then like it's just that starting spark it gives them, that they are just able to then get into that mode of, okay, can I trade? I can go over and over and over and refine this to the level of to the level I need.
Yeah, and I love how you were saying that. First, you are thinking it's been a while, and then you use AI towards getting you over this issue. So you, like guys, are doing this with the company. It's not like you just trying to force something into the market. No, you're struggling with certain issues yourself. You overcome that, and because it has so much value for you, you bring it into the market. Which I think, if people are doing that, I think it's the most organic way how you can actually start a business.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, right? And now actually we are at a point where we eat our own dog food. I write my blogs using our system. I have agents to write blogs. So, they keep building the knowledge about our company, about what we provide, about what we have built, and I'm able to get that out much quickly and much more correct fashion, right? And it's the same for all of my other workflows as well. I'm automating so much of my own issues and own workflows using my own platform. It's a real need I see out there, and that's what we are trying to plug. And we did that market validation, right? When we did the warm intros, when we were coming up with our MVP, even the POC, did like reach out to our network and actually talked with them, and we spoke with CFOs and CIOs and CSOs. And they were all, like, there is no platform which gives me governance. There's no single platform for AI. Like, they were like, usage is rampant, but I have no control, no visibility, no monitoring, nothing. Tomorrow something goes wrong, and things have gone wrong, as we've seen, right? We saw some AI actually went and turned off production servers recently, or went and deleted production data. There's nothing that allows them to go back and figure out what happened. There is no way to roll back these AI agents. Like, it just does not exist. So these things are, what we are bringing. Our concept is like, if you cannot roll it back, and if you cannot like go through it and make it repeatable, then it's not production ready.
And it's gonna be an interesting question. When you were like fan of Lord of the Rings, have you ever watched the movies?
I have watched Lord of the Rings. It's been a while, but yes, I have.
All right. So let's say we're talking about Gandalf. Gandalf, he was always the one doing the magic. And let's say you can hold the staff of Gandalf. This red pen in my hand right now, this is like the staff of Gandalf. And with the staff, you could solve any problem in the company just in a couple of seconds. What problem would you choose with this Gandalf staff?
That's a very interesting question. Because, as a startup founder, you are battling different things every single day, right? And obviously, like, but the end goal is like you need to get to a product which actually touches the most number of lives, right? And that's my goal over here, right? Like, every workflow that we optimize with our platform, every agent that we help build that, you know cuts down time to get a certain task done, puts currency back into the ecosystem, right? Now, that currency can be, say, time for people who are using our platform because they are doing things much faster. It can be CO2 emissions, because now, there's no extra wastage in terms of like doing so many things, like, what to say, failing after a long time, after investing a lot. And it's also dollars back because you're wasting less resources. So, I mean, if I had that staff, what I would say is that, oh, like, I just want to reach out to the largest community possible out there, and have as many companies, as many enterprises just adopt this ADLC, go to that higher level, just move from the traditional software development life cycle to this agent development life cycle. So yeah, that would be something. So I mean, if you tie it back to a real function, it's probably marketing outreach, right? Okay, how can we actually get in front of most of the people,
Love it. Like
most of the enterprises?
right people so you guys can actually offer the value which you guys know you are doing, right? And let's say what are some of the goals you're having for the next, let's say, 6 to 12. I mean, maybe you already talked about a little bit, right? But like some of the goals you're having for the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the next 6 to 12 months, we intend to basically, we have this horizontal platform now, and we are seeing applications in multiple verticals. So we want to solidify our platform for those verticals further, and at the same time also make it much more usable. We want to add chat interfaces at some point in time, because right now we have an interface which is more a guided interface, but we want it to be much more fluid, like how ChatGPT is. But that is something that does not work in enterprise, which is why we are over here, right? Like in the enterprise context, people cannot use ChatGPT because they don't get that structure. They don't get that vendor neutrality. They are not able to create something which they can just take to another LLM and reuse. Over here, we can do that. So in terms of the next 6 to 12 months for our product and our service, uh, we intend to like grow in terms of like usability, in terms of features, functionality, scale it out. We actually intend to build a SaaS-based platform. Right now we are SaaS, but we are like limited availability. So we are actually just giving it to customers that sign up specifically. But we want to like make it completely available to whoever wants to come and join us. And in that process, we intend to grow our team. We already have doubled our team in the last 5 weeks, but that doubling means like going from 2 to 4. Yeah, but then like that is another area. And then we just, as I mentioned, like, we just want to touch as many different verticals as we can, as many different businesses as we can.
Very nice. And let's say this is going to be an interesting question, maybe even the most interesting question of the podcast. Let's say with all the knowledge and wisdom you've gained among the years, you growing the company Next Moca, if you can choose one piece of wisdom you've learned among the years, and you could just give this piece of wisdom away towards the founders who are watching this podcast right now, and they can start implementing it straight away. What wisdom would you give to these founders who are watching the podcast right now?
Yeah, so it goes from my journey over here as well. Like I went from, like as I said, manager to builder, and now builder to almost like someone who elevates people. My responsibilities are, yes, day-to-day coding as well, but then I am also responsible for the entire engineering organization and building out the product. One thing I would like, one piece of wisdom that I've gained is that, now I value clarity over cleverness. So be clear in what you want, in how you communicate with your team, like what you communicate with your team. That actually is better than like just being clever and like trying to come up with like really quirky solutions that may not be understood well or may not be uh, implementable, like, auditable, like that you cannot really go back and say that, okay, this is how things work. So that's one piece of wisdom that I have started to value. And then the other thing I would say is that in this new model of businesses that's going to come up, right? I think like what we need to start valuing is outcomes. Outcomes are better, like are what should be valued over, say, the process itself. The process can be iterative. It can be much more quicker now. What you should value is the outcome. How are you getting that outcome? Doesn't matter like what goes in between, as long as the outcome is the right outcome. So that's another thing that I've learned and I've started to value.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. Like, having this outcome like really clear in mind, you're moving with intention, moving with direction. And same time, like when things are really clear, they often say like how the team is working together is super important. You can be like the best founder in the world, but if your team is not really working, you can have the best offer, but you're still not gonna really grow. And if there's like clarity in your communication, clarity in where you guys are going, to combine it with direction as well, everyone is moving towards the same path, and it's really easy. And it actually makes it really straightforward to grow because everyone knows exactly what they have to do.
Yeah, that's exactly true. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You create that path, and you, like really just let people follow that path on their own. You cannot really push them along. They have to discover their own path as well. But you give that outcome, you give that goal, they know how to reach it. And like our employee, the people that we have in our team, my colleagues, they are just fantastic people, so brilliant. Like all I need to do is give them very clear goals and they will reach it themselves. And that's where I'm learning that, okay, I think giving them clear goals rather than giving them a clever solution is way better.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you're saying like everyone has their own path and they're moving in their own way. And it comes back to the saying, which I found really interesting, because usually we always have this intention, we want to help people. And there was this guy, he said once, we cannot help anyone in the world. The only thing what people can do is help themselves. We can like actually provide the best information towards the people, so they have the possibility to help themselves with the information we are providing towards them. Makes
Yeah.
sense, connects towards what you were saying as well, right? And for the people who are watching this podcast right now, what are some of the ways how they can connect with you, Kiran, or the company?
Yeah, so there's two ways. a couple ways. So one is go to our website, nextmoca.com. My email, I believe, is on the website as well. But if people have to reach out by email or LinkedIn, I'm Kiran at nextmoca.com. And then another thing that I do is I do mentorship as well. So mentor other folks who have a similar builder mentality and want to bring products to the market, which actually will again enhance lives, right? I am available on ADP list as a mentor as well, and like I was a top mentor over there. That's something I really value. I really love actually talking with people and like helping them find their purpose as well.
Kiran, thanks so much for being on the podcast, for sharing all your value, talking about the company, sharing some of those like really wise lessons. For everyone who's watching the podcast right now, I'm gonna make sure to put all the links of Kiran, and the description of the company down below. And everyone, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you for having me.